I didn't realize until recently that it's happening right here, even in suburban neighborhoods and communities. And we all know that technology has expanded the reach of sexual predators through gaming, social media platforms, and even Roblox. When my husband and I saw Sound of Freedom on July 4th, it was horrifically jolting for us, although not entirely new content. We already supported a couple of organizations in the fight against sex trafficking and modern day slavery, the International Justice Mission and the Tim Tebow Foundation, and now Operation Underground Railroad, the organization you see in this movie, which exists to rescue children from sex trafficking and sexual exploitation. But after this movie, I wanted to do more than just throw money at the problem. I didn't want to feel helpless or passive in this fight. How can we protect kids, thwart predators' efforts, and crush sex trafficking altogether? Tall order, I know. My efforts might be just a drop in the bucket, but what if we all contributed a drop to the bucket? It would eventually overflow. In this video, I'm going to share 3 ways we can join in the fight to protect, thwart, and crush those involved in sexual abuse and sex trafficking. And I've linked many resources in the description. Hey, I'm Kathleen Rumford, entrepreneur, homeschool advocate and mentor, parenting resource. And in order to get this out to help more people, please like, subscribe, and/or comment. So first, how can we protect our own children and grandchildren from this evil, which is right in our midst? Well, we can increase our awareness and vigilance by becoming educated ourselves and by knowing signs or red flags to look for. I've linked multiple resources, including a simple online safety guide for parents from Operation Underground Railroad that educates parents on online grooming, fake accounts, red flags to look for, popular apps and risks, and how to open the conversation with your kids regarding their digital footprint and what to look out for. It's imperative to not only educate ourselves, but also our kids and teens to help them navigate the risks and know when to talk to someone they trust. But things can happen in person as well. When my daughter was a mid-teen, she mentioned that she and her friends were at the mall and approached about modeling a couple different times. Could these have been predatory lures? The resources I've linked also clearly state that perpetrators often groom the parents, guardians, and communities, as well as kids, by offering support and gaining trust. They can position themselves as an expert leader or someone with inherent trust. To hear a few stories of survivors and how they got lured and their recovery, I've linked a few YouTube videos in the description. This includes a 9-year-old groomed by a teenage neighborhood friend, a 21-year-old college student groomed for a year by a supposed boyfriend, and 2 young teen girls unwittingly getting into a car with some nice young men to get out of the cold. Please be aware that all of these have varying degrees of graphic detail. Kids, of course, don't usually realize they're being groomed, especially if it's by someone they know and is trusted by the family, which according to the Center for Child Protection is often the case. I've linked 2 videos of survivors sharing their stories of having been trafficked by their own mothers starting at age 4, again with some graphic detail. Assuming there's a healthy, functioning adult in a child's life, the Center for Child Protection says it's never too early or too often to begin talking to your kids about their bodies, sex, and boundaries. It's important they know who they can go to if someone makes them feel uncomfortable or unsafe, and that if they or their family is being threatened, that they should still tell a trusted adult. If you can offer other ideas on how to protect our loved ones in this area, please drop them in the comments. By becoming educated and recognizing signs, we can also become more vigilant and helpful in our communities or wherever our travels may take us. That brings us to our second way to join the fight, thwarting the efforts of predators to the best of our ability and by being aware and vigilant. I heard 2 stories recently about potential kidnapping of children. One in a national retail store parking lot with easy on, easy off highway access, where a man in a car was idling near a young woman and her toddler, apparently looking for an opportunity to make a grab. This was my friend's daughter-in-law and grandson. And a second incident inside a national retail store where 2 men were stalking a 10-ish-year-old girl who was looking at clothes with her parents nearby but far enough away to potentially miss an abduction. Both times, a Good Samaritan fellow shopper got involved to thwart the efforts. I personally lost my own child in a national home improvement store that could have turned into a parent's nightmare because my kids were behind me and I wasn't paying close enough attention. It was terrifying. My child had wandered out to the garden center and gratefully was returned to me, but my carelessness could have been catastrophic. I've seen it happen other times with parents turning their backs on their children, sometimes in easy to grab strollers long enough for something to potentially happen. We can all be more careful and vigilant. Last year, I became aware that things are going on right under our noses in houses, townhouses, apartments, right in our communities. So I was vaguely aware and vigilant when I was walking on a path in my neighborhood and saw a woman and middle school aged child walking stiffly, looking straight ahead. And when I said hi, they kept looking straight ahead nervously and didn't respond. Something was not right. I decided to circle back around to see if I could see where they ended up so I could determine if there might be something amiss. I desperately walked the connecting paths looking for them, but I grieved the fact that I had lost them. After watching the Sound of Freedom movie on July 4th, our family was traveling and we stopped at a rest stop service area on the side of the highway. Before we left, I stood outside the bustling bathroom area for about 5 minutes looking for anything that seemed off. Although there's only so much that we can do with increased awareness and vigilance, we could make a huge difference, even just for one person. Have you noticed anything with regard to potential predators? If so, tell us about it in the comments. The third and final way that I've been thinking of to join the fight to crush sex trafficking is by piercing the darkness with light. If there was no market for the child sex trade, then there would be no need to rescue victims. How can we bring light to this darkness, to those who consider this okay to partake in? Jordan Peterson interviewed Jim Caviezel and Tim Ballard from the movie, and I've linked that YouTube video in the description. Around the 37.5-minute mark, Dr. Peterson explains how the sex trafficking horrors of children and adults can become normalized in a person's mind, beginning with micro decisions centered around pornography and micro progressions, bringing them deeper into the darkness until they get to a point that they think it's normal and okay. The movie also has a scene where a former partaker says that he realized he had to kill the darkness inside himself. But darkness doesn't take out darkness. Only light does. There's an organization called Fight the New Drug, which raises awareness on the harmful effects of pornography and exploitation. I encourage you to get educated about how porn can not only affect you as a consumer, but also the truth behind many of those shown in images and videos who are not consenting and may be trafficked victims. I've included a YouTube link in the description of a young woman who was hired to do a fitness attire modeling job, but who forcibly ended up in a porn film against her will. Again, there is some graphic detail as she shares her story. Men and women, there are programs I've linked in the description to help you free yourself from pornography and other dark things keeping you in bondage, as well as to develop personal excellence. And lastly, what about how we raise our kids? Kids don't say, when I grow up, I want to be a predator or pedophile. Something takes them down that path. So how can we raise up high-functioning children who are well-loved, kids of character and excellence who walk in the light? We might have to learn alongside our kids to be that ourselves. We are only in this world for a brief time. In this world, not of this world. We're just traveling through. What we choose in this life to worship and serve has ramifications on what eternity holds for each of us. It's never too late to believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and love and serve others in His name. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe for more on homeschooling, parenting, and personal finance for kids and teens. And until next time, take care and God bless.